massive glare on your screen.
Yeah. We could turn out the lights. Would we look too dark if we turned?
Yeah, it would definitely be too dark if we turned out the lights.
It's just.
And that
Are we
one's
live?
fine. Yeah.
Okay. We're live. Hi, everybody. It's Cindy.
And Christine.
With Candles and Supplies, and we're changing it up this week. So we're doing an open discussion on business startup. I mean, I said mistakes just to get people to click on it and stuff like that, but really it's learning experiences. Mistakes are anything you would do and not learn from and keep doing again and again and again. Learning experiences are things that didn't go as planned, things that you would do differently, things that you wouldn't do again. So we'll talk about it. The mistakes is just in the title to get people to join us and stuff because it's catchy. People like, hear other people's disasters and stuff, but this is intended to be more of like kind of a motivational thing. So sometimes it's, super lonely when you're starting a business and you think you need to know all the answers and know this and know that, and you got lots of naysayers and stuff like that. So so it gets kind of lonely, but it's helpful, I think, and motivational to hear from other people that have went through your struggles and survived and thrived through it and everything. So that's what we're here to talk about today. So let us know if you're out there. Say hi, say where you're from. You can put your company name in there too and everything like that. Let us know if our technology is working. So we should be able to see your questions as we go. We have the cameras a little bit closer today so we can see your questions as I go, or, any kind of things that you have experienced too. These are the most popular ones that we see, like calling in. We get calls all the time and people starting businesses and having struggles and stuff. So these are the most, prominent ones, the things that we see all the time. So we'll throw that out there, but we'd love to hear from you too on your struggles. So whatever's going on. So. All right. I see a few people on there. Hi from Amarillo, Texas. Sounds good. Everybody's coming on. Awesome. Hello from New York. Hello, everybody. All right. Christine organized this because as, I always tell people take notes. I take notes. I take lots of notes, but they're all over the place, So she organized it into different categories. So as we go through, feel free to post your struggles too. These are the ones that, big ones that we see. So
yeah, or anything that you might need help with or whatever. So, I mean, there's lots of different things that came up, but they kind of boiled down to two different things would be confidence and money. Those are the two biggest struggles. So, but there's a lot within each one of those. So let's start with confidence. So there's just people.
Confidence. Yeah. We see so many talented artists, wonderful people that make wonderful products and stuff like that. And then they're like, I don't know if it's good enough to sell. Oh my gosh. And their things are amazing and stuff. So, stop telling yourself bad things. So confidence is a big one. So
yeah. So like underneath confidence, like it comes into play when you're like comparing yourself to others, like whether people you see in the stores or like people see making or posting, stalking like other social media, like that's a huge one. Just like, I mean, I know you have to know a little bit what's going on in the industry, obviously, but like you don't need to follow everybody else, and you don't need to like do all of that because that's just gonna like give you more doubts. So under that kind of goes with like undervaluing yourself and your product and that type of thing. Listening to naysayers, it could be your own family member sometimes, it could be friends, it could be whoever. And then expecting yourself to be perfect right away, perfect expectations.
Perfection expectation.
Yeah.
I like that. You have that.
You wrote that. I just rewrote
Did
it.
I?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Perfection expectation. Yeah.
So these are obviously all the problems, some things you may or may not struggle with. So we kind of went into like what are some solutions for those type of things, because don't need to tell you what your problem is. But
first one, come see us, show us your stuff, and we'll tell you how awesome you are. So I like doing that. Yeah, I love seeing what everybody else is doing because you're all wonderful artists that are coming up with unique things, and I value your own uniqueness, and I can tell you what's good about everything. So yeah.
All right. So some of the other things, I mean, this is super basic, but maybe read some inspirational books or follow some inspirational people on Instagram or whatever. If you're not into like book reading, there's so many podcasts, so many of those other things. It doesn't have to be industry specific either. It's almost probably better if it's not, just like an overall type of thing for like inspiring your life, your business. There's so many business books.
It doesn't matter what you make or sell. So we didn't like target this towards candle or soap makers. Doesn't matter what you make or sell. Everybody's in the same boat. So you see, this is part of my library back there. It's a small collection of like what's further on these shelves and stuff, but I love reading books and different things. And, I love just not other people's struggles, but like, how they overcome them. Because sometimes it feels like, when you're having a problem or you're stuck on something that, you're probably the only one in the world that's experienced that, when that's not true. There's lots of people out there that are going through the same thing or have gone through the same thing too. So yeah, inspirational books is great.
Yeah.
So
books, podcasts,
Mhm.
audiobooks, if you don't have time to read
right.
or don't like to read. I'll do a blog post on this too. And we do that, maybe we could link some of our favorite inspirational books or stuff
Ooh, that's a good idea. Yeah, good
on
books.
there that might
Mhm.
help. So kind of along that, follow inspirational people, not the ones that make you feel bad about yourself. I feel like that's a very good indicator. There's sometimes like you're like, oh, this person's like, I really want to be like this person, but then you're almost comparing yourself and making yourself feel worse when you're following them.
Right.
So you got to make sure there's a line there. So you got to make sure you're not crossing that line.
Even some motivational books. So I've read lots of motivational books and this and that. And there's one, and the author always, his first name begins with a Z and his last name always begins with a Z. Well, he wears me out, and I can't really follow that because he doesn't feel real to me. Like I can't connect with him, and he doesn't feel real to me and stuff. So for me, that's not motivational. That's demotivational. It's like, oh my God, I'm the laziest person in the world. I don't have all this energy, blah, 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 and this big personality and stuff. So it can go other ways too. Find people that you connect with to be inspirational.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same thing with like some of the books and stuff too. Because there's like the
Right.
4 a.m. club and stuff, which is like, if you're a morning person and that's how you function, that's like the way you do it. That's awesome. But like some people just don't work their best then, so you kind of got to do it.
I'm not part of the 10 p.m. club.
No, like so like, and my life doesn't work I'm more of a night person, but I have to be up in the morning, so I really don't get a great period at all, honestly, because I can't be up to have my good period.
You're fantastic all the time. So.
Yeah, but so that's so like kind of finding what works for you. If you're reading an inspirational book or following somebody and you're not connecting with them, or you don't have any type of like revelations, just stop reading. Yeah,
move
there's
on.
other people, there's other things.
Yeah, I've had some bestsellers that were supposed to be motivational and this and that and helping. And it's like, oh my gosh,
Yeah, and some of the ones too that like there have been books that I've read that have been like very highly rated, I thought were like really dumb. I'm like, I mean, maybe it's just because my personality, and it's like, I already do this. Like, I don't need to read about this with you. Like, oh, it's life changing.
Sometimes those authors have a lot of friends that can rate them high.
Well,
so
that big book. It's like how to not give a about like things. A curse word. I thought that was the dumbest book I ever read. Yeah, because it was pretty much just like, I mean, caring about how people. It was pretty much just like, don't care what people think about you. But like, I already don't. So it was pointless to me. But again, so some people that might help. So it's got to find your things.
Right. I didn't like that one either. So.
Yeah, it's yeah. So next thing we're kind of talking about the confidence. Stay in your lane, do your own thing, kind of ignore others.
Right. Embrace your own uniqueness, your artist. Embrace yourself. And that goes into comparing. Like, don't compare yourself. You're your own self. Be your own self. Nobody else can be you, so you have to be you.
Yeah, your own self, your own brand. Mm-hmm. So I mean, even if like some things are similar or you whatever, it's all your own thing, and ignore when people say bad things about it, because that's you. And some people you'll find other people that are like you that will connect to you. And like that's what sells your product and your brand, is because you bring those people into your life.
Christine tells me sometimes don't dim your own light to make others brighter.
Yes, that's a huge one. Right. I feel like that's definitely a thing that people do. It's like it happens a lot of times with like friends or family or something, that like if you're doing really, really well and they're putting you down because of that, or they're not, whatever.
That's crazy.
That's their problem. That's not your problem. So you gotta do all that.
And I know one of the people on here watching this should resonate with, so you know who I mean.
So this is kind of all those same lines. Don't ever let someone undervalue you or your products. Know what went into it: time, money, research, etc. And everything like that. Like, just because someone's not willing to pay your price, so it's not your right person. You're not your right customer.
Not your market. Yep.
No, so that's fine for that.
You can get that cheaper at a dollar store. No, you can't. I don't sell my products at dollar stores.
Right. You get something less quality there, sure.
Right.
There's this thing that was going around Facebook for a while, maybe some other places, but it was like, an example of like people essentially, it was over entrepreneurs, and it was a contractor example, and it was like putting on like a back deck on someone's house or whatever, and they quoted the homeowner this price, and homeowner's like, oh well, you can't do it for cheaper, and they're like, no, like this is time, materials, everything goes into it, and they're like, but I mean, if you want to do it cheaper, I'll like tell you how to do it for such amount, like something cheap, like $200 or $300. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do that. So like, all right, well then you need to get to the store to pick up the materials at 6 a.m. and it's going to cost this amount. It's like, oh, you're not going to do that? No, that's your problem. Oh, but then you need to rent the equipment to do the project. So it just or buy it. All of these costs kept adding up that consumer didn't realize went into it. And then they're like, oh wait, yeah, that actually is a good deal. Same type of things with this though.
Right.
Like people don't realize, like you don't necessarily realize all that, plus your time and everything like that.
Right.
So
candles, your wick testing and this and that, and your time and getting the perfect wax and your labeling and all that type of stuff too. So yeah, don't discount that. Like don't undervalue yourself and that
all the time, money and effort that went into things. It's the same type of thing, whether it's putting a deck on the back of your house or making a candle. I mean,
exactly.
A little bit different price wise, but same type of concept. Because entrepreneurs very often get put down with what they're charging for things. Don't ever feel bad for what you're charging for something. All right. So when someone is doubting you and what you're doing, it says more about them than you. So this is another big one too, that we're going into like the naysayers and stuff too.
Right.
Because people very often cannot like take themselves out of their own self, and they're like, oh, well, I couldn't do that. So they project that onto you. Be like, oh, you can't do that, because they know they couldn't do it.
Right.
So you have to remember that like it's not about you, it's about them, their confidence, and what their abilities are. Like, as long as you're doing your best thing and you're not doing anything illegal or anything dumb, like it's about them, it's not about you. So that's a huge
in general for confidence, and even when you're stuck and stuff like that. So sometimes when you're stuck and you'll tell people like, I'm stuck on, whatever it may be, my advertising, or I'm stuck on this or that or whatever. And people will be like, oh yeah, your social media sucks and I never get any emails. And so they're going to put you down rather than be like, helping you out and being like, oh, you know what? Why don't you start an email marketing program? So, like this and that, and look at this person or that person and what they've done and stuff. So, they'll bring you down easier than they will bring you up. So the important thing is when you're taking advice from anyone, so don't take advice on emails or whatever you're advertising. I'm just picking that. Could be just pick a subject or whatever. If you're not talking to somebody that's already done it and done it well, you're not listening to the right person. So if somebody's never ran an email marketing campaign, they shouldn't be telling you that yours sucks, because how would they know? They've never done it. So always listen to somebody that's been there, done that on the subject. Experts are the best. Find the expert, whatever you're stuck on, find the expert in that. They'll, if they're that good, they'll be willing to help you. So, because experts want to help, they want to help everybody and stuff. So find the expert on that subject and talk to them. So don't talk to people that haven't done it. So
and there's so many like YouTubes and other things you can look up for how to do things, and like questions on things. You can find a bunch of answers just like on the internet easily nowadays. Whereas like you couldn't have much before. But yeah, that's like a big thing. If that person isn't past where you are and where you want to go, you should be listening to them. So all right. So the next big category is the whole money thing, because we hear that a lot. So these are the mistakes that essentially cost you money.
First of all, you'll never make enough money. I don't know anybody that says they make too much money or enough money. You'll never make enough money. That's that.
Is there anything going? I can't read those comments. Okay. Are you on just with the glare?
Let's go over confidence things first. So highs. Good afternoon. Okay. Ooh, they got stuck. I can't really read. We have a terrible glare on the screen. I got stuck in my fear of failing. Excellent one. Yep. So I got so this is a good story. So everybody knows the product WD-40, right? WD-40, it's the stuff that you spray on everything to lube it up and keep it from squeaking. Doesn't work in candle molds. Don't do it. So don't do it for your candles. But anyway, so everybody knows the WD-40. But do you know the meaning behind that? The meaning behind that is WD means water displacement, right? water displacement. And the 40 is the number of times it took to make that formula. So if those WD-40 people had a fear of failing, they wouldn't have tried 40 times to get that. Now everybody has WD-40. Like, I hope you hit on a product like that and stuff like that. But, just instances like that. So WD-40, it took them 40 tries before they got to that formula and everything. So fear of failing, it's not really, I hope that, you don't fear failing in general. Failing is a big word, but your next step closer to hitting it.
Right. It comes from they're learning adventures, learning things.
Learning experiences.
Yeah, learning experiences, exactly.
Yeah.
So
you only fail if you give up. Sometimes you have to, because I can say that I failed at a lot of things and give up on them because it just doesn't seem possible. But I don't fear it. It's just like, oh, that didn't work out. Let's try this. Try something new.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, good one. We see that a lot. Fear of failing. Very good one. Thank you for that. So next, how do you correctly value your products? So the easiest way for me on that one, and to connect with your target audience and stuff like that, look at your products as an objective, like just completely unbiased opinion. If you were seeing your products in some place and you were going to buy them, what would you pay for it? That's the easiest way to value it. So, and to get a good value. So like some people, let's say they're in the very wealthy section of a city and they wouldn't buy an 8-ounce candle for less than $75. Well, if that's the market that you're hitting, that's the price that you're at. So if you're, making it reasonable or doing fundraisers or whatever like that, people have to resell their product in a fundraiser for 50%, and you can't, so it all depends. The easiest way for me is turn it around. What would you buy? What would you pay for that? So do some market research too, like Google similar products, see what they're selling it for. You can put yourself in there. So
make sure bottom line, make sure you're calculating your costs and stuff too, and make sure you're covering all of your costs.
Know your costs.
That's the basic. And then after that, find what
we did
market
pricing a couple weeks ago.
I did a couple weeks ago on pricing, but make sure you're covering your costs and that type of thing. And then after that, decide what market you're targeting and where you want to be for that target price, and then kind of adjust from there.
If you've never shopped at the places that sell an 8-ounce candle for $75, you're probably not going to be able to connect. Like I would be like, this is out of my league. I can't do that. So it depends on where you go though. Okay. Next one. All right. South Carolina, going into year 3 of my business.
Ooh, congratulations.
Good
That's
for
exciting.
You. That is exciting. So
was that a pandemic start?
And then hey ladies. So.
A lot of people did then.
Okay. Somebody says they're still underwater going into year 3. Well, hopefully that turns around for you. Again, know your costs and stuff like that. But a lot of times when you're getting started, it's very good to make a plan. So we'll get into that next in the money and stuff like that. So that's a whole other thing. Some years we've had good years. Some years we've lost money. It depends how that happens. We've been doing it for 24 years. So,
this business, that type of thing too, is hard compared to some of the other ones that are more like a service. Right. So you always have costs to make your product and that type of thing. Whereas if you're a house, cleaning houses, you don't have too much bottom costs, so you can make more money that way. But you have to remember you're taking that into account. So you might not necessarily always be up on that because you have to buy more things. You have to the money you make, you have to take part of that and then reinvest it back into the business. So you just have to make sure you're going at that. Right. And then it sounds like maybe you just need to raise your prices. I'm always about price raising. Okay. All right. Can you guys speak on additives in candles? It's a big deal on blogs, dried herbs, stones, etc. Please.
Okay. Sounds good. That sounds like another live stream. So
I think we might have done that a little while ago.
We did. It's time. It's botanical time. So thanks for that suggestion. We'll do it on the next one.
That was a trend that started a while ago.
Okay. So let's go on to our next problem here. I think
they're cute though. I like them.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Next
All
problem.
Right. So essentially the money thing is where we are at. So some of the problems, you have no plan, no budget, no money.
That's a big deal because that stirs into a lot of other things. You'd be like, oh, I want to make this and this and this and sell this and this and this. And your head gets so excited and you're so, focused on creating and stuff like that you're not like, okay, I want to make this amount of this. This is what I'm going to buy for it. I'm going to do it and get it done. So kind of a plan, a budget, whatever, don't try to make 10,000 candles before you've even made one candle. So, or whatever, 10,000 bath bombs or whatever. Yeah. So,
I mean, some like candle lines and everything, it's like one vessel and they might like
Right.
vary some fragrances. So like kind of figure out, okay,
Right.
well, like what do you essentially would be your signature vessel? And then if you, after you're good there, maybe you go a size smaller, go a size up from there.
right.
Give a few signature scents in the beginning. You can always add more fragrances later. But you got like 20 fragrances, 30 different jars. Like it's too much.
Yeah. Make a plan.
Exactly.
Yeah, no plan is a bad plan. So you always want to make a plan.
How many scents should someone start with? I would say 3 to 5 is where I would be for like a start.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it depends on like if you're just starting out and selling and stuff like that, 3 to 5 is good. If you want, if you're starting out doing craft shows, maybe like 10 or less.
I think 10's a lot.
It is a lot, especially if you offer different sizes. Like I think sizes would be more important than number of scents. Customers are really nice. So like customers are going to be your best friends, even if you've never met them, don't know them, whatever. They'll come up if you have 3 to 5 scents and they'll be like, oh, do you have this? Do you have, if it's a spring craft show, do you have pumpkin spice? Not right now, but probably in the fall. So
yeah, you can also
they'll let you know what they want to.
Yeah, you can also do have like my favorite thing is having a set like signature number and then doing seasonal ones as they come and go.
Right.
Like I mean, some of like there's always like somebody always wants like a lavender or something. There's like some basic ones. Like you look at our top selling
vanilla, floral, spice, fruit,
some type of like masculine one. Yeah. If you look at our top selling fragrances, you can kind of see which ones are the most popular and just pick a couple of those just to like kind of start. Because people always ask for them. There's a reason they're top selling, classic type of thing, and then kind of see what your customers want, and then you can kind of bring on other ones in that way. Yeah, I mean, if you are doing something like bigger or doing multiple product, like different things, then you could add more. But I think like 5 is probably a good place to start, and then do more depending on what you're doing. If you're selling like if you're selling on like online, or if you're doing Etsy, or if you're doing craft shows, I think it would vary a little bit. But we're just selling friends and family, so. So kind of we're like kind of talking about the no plan, no budget. So overbuying things, overbuying fragrances, vessels, that type of thing.
Right. We see this a lot, especially like once you get making and you're good at it and this and that. And then you'd be like, oh, I found these jars for, whatever. I got them for X amount and I bought like 10,000 of them. Okay, well, they're ugly and not useful and their neck's too small. They'll never be able to light a candle, so just because you can buy them doesn't mean that you should buy them that's where you need the plan and stuff like that. Same with fragrance oil. So like we're recommending, 5, 10 max. You don't need 50 to start out. Mm-mm. So it's nice to offer that. You can be like, okay, and here's our scents. And maybe you could list them if you take special orders or whatever, you could do that.
That's good too.
But yeah, so just spending all your money and stuff like that, because once you start, people will like your stuff and they'll want more and then you want to buy more. So, but if you have everything tied up initially in what you have and they don't want to buy that and they want more, it's good when they want more. You like that. That's a very good thing. So, but that means that you're expanding and you're growing and that's success and stuff, and you'll need to spend more money. So buy what you need, buy what you're going to do and buy what you need. So.
Yeah. I mean, there's a thing too, like some of our products too have like some volume discounts and stuff on them. But like, if you're just starting out and like, 1 ounce fragrance, it costs more than a 16 ounce. You think you're going to use 16 ounces, great. But like, don't buy a 25 pound. So 25 pounds, you're going to get, it's going to be a lot cheaper.
We know the price is better.
Right. It's going to be a lot cheaper.
It's not going to be a bestseller and you're going to have it for 10 years.
Yeah.
You just kind of, spent more money than you had to have it sit there. So
another
thing we see is people are going out of business and people will buy de-stashes, right? Mm-hmm. De-stashes is when, they no longer want to do it or they'll de-stash and, it's them wanting to get rid of it. Well, what happens is you end up spending a lot of money on stuff that you probably won't use. So maybe you'll get 50 fragrances in a de-stash, but there's like 1 ounce in each of them. Maybe it's something you can't get again. So you have one. What are you going to do with 1 ounce of fragrance? Offer one special scent, and then somebody's going to come, love that. I want another candle, and you can't do it. So sometimes the de-stashes aren't.
Yeah.
Good. Sometimes they are great deals.
My solution for your de-stash thing.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even know de-stash was a word, but apparently that's like a thing. Yeah. So unless you directly use the de-stash, like it's already in your product line, keep walking. That's like.
Yeah. Or if you find, 1 or 2 things in the de-stash that you really like, I can use this and I'm paying for this, all the other stuff you're giving me is free type thing. And then throw it in there somewhere, specials or gifts or whatever. That's great. So, but have a plan for the D-stash, not just like, oh, all this
Otherwise,
stuff is
it's
really
going to be
cheap.
sitting around.
Or
forever.
equipment. Maybe you get a bunch of stuff, but there's like a wax melter or a melter that you really want or something like that, or a bath bomb press that you really want. So the price of that D-stash is worth the price of the piece of equipment. So
yeah. So friends and family discounts.
oh, big one. Yeah. So how the progression works is like you make something, you like it, you give it away to friends and family, then they want more and they want it for free, or they want discounts or this or that or whatever. Well, that can actually put you out of business because you're undervaluing yourself. You're not getting paid I mean, if they have valuable input, or they're going to be an influencer and get on social media and be like, hey, I'm, using this product and it's the most amazing thing ever. And you can get it from so-and-so. And here's the address and website and this and that. Unless they're doing that for you and bringing in people and more money. So beware of that. You'll have a lot of friends when you have something that everybody wants. So it's amazing how many friends you have. So
yeah, I mean, and it's not saying that you can't give people discounts, but just make sure you're still making profit off of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Don't unless you have something brand new and you want a couple of people, people to test it out, then that's cool. But give away something to everybody in your office, and then everybody's asking you when they're gonna get something else for free. Right. That's when you get problems. Mm-hmm. Can you double check your thing here? I think you had some more things come in.
Good. Oh yeah, look at all these comments. Thanks for all the conversation, guys. You guys are awesome. Okay. It's hard with inflation, and a few people I started out sometime with me closed out of business. Yeah. So that's one of those things, like there's always going to be problems. There's always going to be situations, there's COVID, there's inflation, there's rent increases, there's, workman's comp claims, there's, divorces, there's whatever the story is, there's always challenges. You have to work through each one of those. So yeah, inflation's a tough one right now. That's a big one. So, but
I mean, that's the thing too, now after COVID, I think pre-COVID, anytime we had something increase, everybody would complain about it, which I get it. But now I think people are a little more used to price increases and price things sometimes stuff just costs more. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, customers should be a little bit better with that now than I would have said they were 4 or 5 years ago. Right. So I think that's working to your benefit as well. And honestly, it just comes down to how much do you want it? Because if you want it, you're going to figure out a way, you're going to get through it, you're going to make it happen. If you don't want it enough or you're not putting enough in it, it's just not going to happen. And that's just really what it comes down to. Inflation's tough, but you got to keep up with it. So exactly.
This is a good one. Thoughts on launching a company in May? We've heard the warmer months tend to be slower ones. Excellent question. I love that. Okay. So obviously if you're in a touristy area, beach, whatever, great time to launch. Everybody's out and about and stuff like that. If you're not, if you're, normal times to get normal traffic and stuff like that, however you're selling, it can be slower these months. But think about this. It's an easier time to learn. You can get your processes down. You can get your packaging down. You can get all this stuff down, your bookkeeping system, get all of your ducks in a row, get some practice on it and stuff like that. Because man, this season, this kind of business, you get hit in the fourth quarter. So I think it's a great idea. I launch in May, get it started, get going. And that way it gives you all these months to practice for when all, breaks loose in the fourth quarter. So.
Yeah, I was about the same thing I was going to say too. May is probably the best time to start because I mean, you can have a couple summer fragrance or something too. People still buy candles in the summer. Citronella candles, great thing. Right. But yeah, you can really you start to get your name recognition and people are like, oh, I really like this candle company. So I'll make sure I buy stuff in the fall from them. So getting that name recognition and getting your social media and other things built up in this meantime, while it's a little bit slower and you can handle things is prime
key. Yeah, because then when you're busy, you won't have that time.
No, it's going to be
I take advantage of that?
So much harder in the fall. Right. After every fall, when we get into after Christmas, we're just dead for a while. It's because it gets so crazy. So I mean, it's the same thing. Right. So it's it's better to start now and then just have that. I mean, it's a little bit slower, so have that expectation. You're not going to probably sell out right away or that type of thing. As long as you have that expectation and know that, and you're still making.
It's a good time to really talk and connect with customers too, and get what they think and stuff. So I got a lot of good questions coming in. So.
So do you guys have your own line, and if so, how long?
Oh, excellent question. Yes, we do. We are Candles and Supplies, and we've been in business for 24 years. We have a line of candle and soap making supplies.
Let me see. I wasn't sure if they're talking about line of candles.
Yeah, we do not have our own retail
We don't
like
sell,
products,
yeah,
because
we
then
don't,
we'd be
yeah.
competing with you.
Mhm.
That's your job. We sell you the supplies, but we don't compete with you at all. So we private label. So maybe somebody that you are competing with, we want, but that's not our line. And we would help you out if you someday needed 1,000 this or 1,000 or whatever, 10,000. We could help you out with that, but we don't have our own line of retail products because then we compete with you. And that's not our goal. Our goal is to support you, not to compete with you. But our line is
we have our
own supplies.
Candle supplies. Like we obviously have our own fragrances and all those type of things, but we don't have our own like products that are like candles and soaps and stuff we're selling to the general public.
Yeah.
What bookkeeping systems do you recommend?
Oh, QuickBooks. Yeah, definitely QuickBooks. QuickBooks is like universal. There's so many connectors, so many things you can do with it. It's as easy or as complicated as you want it to be. So, but a great place to start is QuickBooks. Highly recommend that one. Yeah. Okay. Next. Okay. Yeah. Somebody bought too many containers. And,
that's just because the discount's there doesn't mean you need it.
Also, shopping tips for successful delivery in the warmer months. Oh boy,
it's hard. I think we did
fearful of candles arriving melted, especially if I'm using it for apricot wax, which is soft to start with. Yeah. So that can be something that you're stuck on. You can always mail on a Monday, because what'll happen like over a weekend, sometimes the trucks don't move on a Sunday. So your product is getting stuck in a truck over a Sunday. So if it's you're mailing to a warmer climate or whatever, mail on a Monday. You can always, like if you're using flat rate shipping or whatever, just put a frozen bottle of water in there or something inside a bag so it doesn't sweat all over your product or whatever. So however you can to keep it cool. And then you don't really have to worry about it. But if you mail it on a Monday, that package keeps moving and stuff inside and out of warehouses. So hopefully it won't get
have a lid on it. Try to keep everything like upright and like stacked well so it's not like falling over. But shipping in the hard months with candles is definitely one of the trickier things.
All right. I've been in business for 3 years, but just now starting to do markets and shows. Do you have any tips on capturing new customers and staying in touch with them during these types of events? Oh, excellent question. I love that. So there should be 2 things in your booth. First of all, some like QR codes, those little bullet points to your social media, so they can come in to your booth, check in, follow your social media and stuff like that. That way, as you're posting on it, whatever platform you want. So whatever you like, whatever you're good at. So put something in there to where they can connect with you. So that's an immediate basis. Also have like a clipboard where you can take email names and, just keep in touch with email marketing. So depending on how, you don't have to throw them an email every day. That annoys me when people throw me an email every day.
That's how you don't
Some
subscribe.
people do. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
For me anyways.
Yep. That's it.
If you're in my inbox more than once a week,
access to the unsubscribe button or the spam complaint button. But like, a weekly or monthly email or something, just to let people know what's happening and stuff, but just a clipboard with their names, and that way they can
name, email, so you can do that. A QR code's good so you can scan. Make sure there's business cards too. I mean, they're kind of old school, but that's still a good thing to have around.
Exactly.
And if you did do sell things too, so have like your name on like any bags or anything you might have, you can get like a stamp made. They're pretty easy, and just like stamp those brown bags and that type of thing.
Oh, I like this from Kay Hoppins. If you like what you do, you'll make it happen.
Exactly.
I love that. Yes. Yep. The hustle's real, folks. I love that. That's great. So, good ones. Good ones.
All right. All right. So I think that was the last one. So paying for ads.
Oh yeah, I saw this before. Those advertising people, they are absolutely sharks and vultures and stuff like that. So make sure before you pay for any ads and stuff like that, that it's definitely going to bring you in some money. Typically, an advertising spend should be 10 to 20% of sales. So if you spend, $10 on advertising, you should expect that to bring in anywhere from $100 to $200 in sales. If they can't guarantee you that, so then it's not worth it. Same thing with like shows and stuff like that. So if you're, if they want $300 or $400 for a table for one day, well, think of it, if it's great and it's a good show and you've been there and stuff like that and everything, okay, that's one thing, you have some experience there. But if it's something that you've never been to, or you're kind of doubting it, or gee, I've never heard of that show and they went $400 for a table, well, $400, you should definitely, generate, if it's a 10, you should generate $4,000 in sales. If you don't feel like you're going to do $4,000 in sales, then that's not worth the spend. Or it could rain. You could put out that $400. It could rain, and even though it could be a good event, nobody's going to want to come. So, but think about that. So watch those ad people, especially the ones like on internet advertising, when you're advertising your website and stuff. That's a difficult thing, very, very difficult thing to navigate, because it just seems like you can just throw money out and throw money out. That's another thing that increased a lot. So shipping, inflation, ads are crazy expensive. So be careful on that, because you can get sucked into a lot of money real quick on that. So I've seen that with people too, trying to get it out there. You're better off doing your own internal, like, your email marketing, taking names, your social media, that type of thing first before you go.
Well, I mean,
what about
like the social media ads where you can like do your own posts?
Again, yeah. So if your posts are struggling, you can boost it, but you can pick a dollar amount too. So like you can boost your post and pick a dollar amount, and then there's integrated ads. They have all kinds of ways for you to spend money on ads. So just be careful, because it's real easy to get sucked in far and deep too fast. So
yeah, you got to make sure your basis is there and everything's there. And then if you want to do an ad to help like supplement a little bit, it's one thing. But ads aren't going to like turn your business around. They're not going to like change everything for you.
Exactly.
So,
yep.
Keep that in mind. We did trend chasing. That's one that we
that's a good one. Yeah. So everybody wants to have the latest and greatest of this and that. Well, sometimes your customers can't keep up with that. So if one time you're making, 8-ounce jar candles with simple, funny, kind of catchy labels, and then the next minute you're making dough bowls, and then the next minute you're making candles in concrete vessels. Well, maybe somebody's going to come back and want that, the first candle that you made, and you're like, oh, I'm over that and stuff. So, you can have special offerings and stuff, but have a core line. So have your core line, your bread and butter line, and
just because something's blowing up all over social media doesn't mean a lot of people are buying it, or that like it's gonna last forever. Like the figurines, the people figurines. The
body candles.
Yeah, the body candles. I mean, personally, they're not my thing, and none of my friends I know would buy one.
Right,
but I mean, I'm sure there are people out there that love them or are buying them. But like, just because it's happening doesn't mean it needs to be your thing. So just keep that in mind. Does it really matter about your vessel choice for your candle? 100%. Very big.
Yeah. Sometimes. It's all about the vessel. So yeah. The
vessel is one of the biggest things, because like you're thinking a lot of times, people will buy it for the fragrance, but a lot of times people are buying it for the aesthetic purposes too, and how they're decorating in their house. So like some of I love some of our fun color vessels and stuff too. And like, if that's part of your thing, that's cool. But like just like the plain black, white things, your market's going to be a lot bigger with those, and people will do that. Or if you're like, your label is taking over the entire thing, they may not want that. So just got to keep in mind for like your market and what you're doing. But like vessel size, vessel color, big thing.
Yeah. Sonia says those make no shape to body.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's some people's thing, which is cool,
and
it's very trendy, and it blew up everywhere. But like, I don't know how many people are actually buying them.
Yeah, me either. I haven't seen them anywhere. So
I don't. So that's the thing too. Just because it's everywhere on social media doesn't mean that it's necessarily selling or that you should make it.
Right. Good comments, everybody. So, all right, Tammy's on there. Okay. Somebody ventured out to see us this morning and picked out their first order. Good. Absolutely love the store. Oh, okay, good.
That's awesome. Yeah, if you haven't visited us, you can pick up your orders. There's all of our lovely fragrances you can smell. You can see all of our wonderful vessels. Lots of things to do here. So.
There is. Yeah, it's interactive. So.
Worth the drive.
Right.
So some of the other random things that you came across that didn't necessarily fit into one of these categories, not reserving your business name.
Yeah, I've heard that a couple times, like in classes and stuff like that and everything. So you have a plan, you have this and that and everything, and then you don't reserve your business name, only to find out that you're in luck with this.
Or something?
Well, on a website or whatever. So
a domain name?
Right, domain names or your company name or whatever. So, you can always change it up a little bit, but you may run into trouble with the person that has that name already. So, so when you're thinking about it and you have the perfect company name, just go out and get your domain, get, your fictitious name or whatever your state requires or whatever, reserve your name. So,
yeah, like this one over here owns like 10 or 15 domains that we don't even use. So, it's one of the things that we would like to do at some point, but it just,
Yeah, random.
That's what I mean.
websites.
Your showroom is one of my favorite places to be. Oh, yay.
Nice.
So some of the other time planning.
Big deal.
Yeah, so
Big
planning your
deal.
time, especially when you have another full-time job or doing something else.
Right. Time planning is huge. So it's huge just because like you can always make more money. You can always sell something else and make more money and stuff. That sounds all simple and everything, but you can always do that, but you can't get more time. There's only a finite amount of time. That's all you have and stuff like that. If you plan things carefully, sometimes all the time, not just sometimes, I over plan my day. I have my schedule so tight and everything on just so entirely tight. I run the whole entire day. And then it's like I'm worn out at the end of the day. And, I did lots of stuff and everything, but sometimes I should just schedule in there. Why don't you breathe or, take a bathroom break or something? So, but time planning is very essential, especially, I always said here, if we have 100 orders, it could take all day. If we have 500 orders, it could take all day. Well, how can we have the same amount of people and do 100 orders and a 500 in the same amount of time? But that's how it goes. And that's how, if you think about it, the more time you have, the more time you will take to do things and stuff. So absolutely true all of the time. But if you can, I do this with emails. I literally could make a career choice out of emails. And if I haven't responded to your emails, I totally sorry. Don't necessarily call me up. I'd love to talk to you. So, but emails, I set my timer on my watch. It's like, all right, 15 minutes on emails, 20 minutes on emails. That's it, because I could sit back here all day and just answer my emails. So, things like that take set a timer, do what you can. It's amazing how productive you can be when you have a finite amount of time. I have 15 minutes to answer these emails. I want to get them below like 50 in my inbox or whatever, and you can do it. So setting goals like that is easy for me. So
yeah, those type of things too. That I've heard of like bigger some like inspirational we're talking about, like literally they'll have a reply, an automatic reply always set on emails. It's like don't expect a response right away. Like I'll get back to you in like 7 business days or something like that. Like just put the expectation out there that like you're not going to sit on your computer all day and deal with that.
Right. Yeah, because then you get nothing else done and stuff like that. So
can get costly trying to make it look professional. I thought about going in IKEA doing a photo shoot.
That'd be fun.
I mean,
I like that idea. That's awesome. They might kick you out, but I love it.
Yeah, you can buy some like those like backdrops and stuff like on Etsy and some other places that aren't like
too
pricey. So like backdrops and just like a lot of our pictures, like our pictures on the website is just like a backdrop. So backdrops, and then like just find like other random things you can throw in there if you want to make it like a little bit different.
Keep it fun.
But
yeah. And then big one, we saved the big one for last. This is something that I'm guilty of, like in my own business startup and everything like that. I always felt like with all the naysayers coming at you and everything, I always felt like I always had to have all the answers. Like, why am I doing this if I don't have all the answers? I don't think that way anymore, but it just seemed like I could. But I didn't ask for help when I was stuck because I thought I should have all the answers at all the time. So, which I didn't. I got stuck, and I still get stuck on a whole lot of things. But not asking for help when you're stuck, huge deal. If you're stuck and something's holding you back and you can't get any further, keep reaching out till you get the help that you need. Big deal. So
that's one of the reasons that like we have our phone lines and we talk to you, is because people have questions, people have problems, and we're here to help you too.
You get stuck. So, but not asking for help is huge. If I was talking to my younger self, I would lecture myself on getting help when I'm stuck. Don't stay stuck, get help.
So that's one of the reasons we do the lives and do everything else too, is to help you guys out. So if you are stuck or you have a problem, like they might help with that type of thing.
Right.
But yeah, you can reach out if you have things. There's so many resources around.
There is, yes.
Y'all have great customer service.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we try.
Yeah.
So
keeps you guys going too.
All right. Hello from Orange, Connecticut. Well, this was great. Thank you so much for all of your input, and thank you for joining us today. Hopefully it's helpful. Hopefully you can, feel more connected if you're stuck on some things and we covered it or whatever. So feel more connected. You're not alone out there. There's lots of other people probably going through the same thing and stuff. So, good luck.
Thank you for being so helpful to me since 2004.
Woo! All right. So 2004. So that's like 20 years. Congratulations. It's your 20 year.
Dixon candle and bath.
All right. Good for you. So that's awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, let us know too in the comments
Y'all
and
make
stuff
me proud.
here if there's anything else that maybe a subject
Yeah.
we touched on that you want to know more about. We could do a more in-depth live with some of
Yeah.
these or something too.
Yeah.
Or you could always email me any things you want to do in the lives
Yeah.
or send us a message on Instagram or something. If there's something you guys want us to go more into detail with or
All right.
whatever.
Sounds
So
good.
we'll see you guys.
Thank
next
you
week.
all for joining today. We'll see you next week for another fun-filled episode. Have a wonderful week.